Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to another top 10. I know it's been like a year plus since I've done one of these, but no time like the present. And once again joining me, like he did in the last video, I'm sure you forgot he was even in that video, is Anderson9132.
Very funny.
In fact, I forget doing that video as well. It was just one of those things where I looked through my old videos and went, shit, that is a good idea I've not done.
I'll be completely honest. I completely forgot about that one. To be honest, I completely forgot we did it.
It has been a bit of a while. We are changing up slightly though, because now Anderson has some options as well. Ooh, interesting. I guess we'll cut to the chase and get to number 10, and I'll be saying my number 10 first, and then Anderson will say his number 10, and so on and so forth. We're also recording the worst in the same day, but obviously this will be a separate video, so look out for that one as well. And we're doing our worst as well, so that'll be fun. But anyway, cut to the chase. Number 10, best weapon. I've gone for an interesting one to start with. I've gone for Berserk 2.
Ooh, interesting.
I went for Berserk 2 mainly because well, when you start getting the bot, I actually had a few ones that almost made it in. Crusher and Exterminator almost made it in. Because they actually had decent weapons. But I think when I gave Berserk 2 the win is because out of all the there are better lifters and flippers, as will appear in this list later, obviously, because there's a lot of good flippers in Series 3. But Berserk 2, I think, just had a lot of dominance in its fights. Like, even as a super heavyweight, it was quite interesting how it was able to, like, lift Shunt up. It didn't flip it over, granted, but it was still able to, like, at that stage, do that. So then when it got to Series 3, they actually managed to make a robot that actually can lift up robots. Admittedly, they went against Tut's Avenger and Alligator, so... You know, take for that what you will. But if they had a go, Hypno-Disc would have been over if they got hold of Hypno-Disc. I don't think because they were able to survive. They were able to survive the hits. So all they do is get them near a wall, or just get underneath them, flip them over, and they would have been out. It was just a fucking spite that ruined it. Really, that's the only reason they lost the heat. I argue they would have won the heat. Really, if it hadn't been for that.
Yeah, I do argue that case as well. I agree with you, actually. I'm spoiler alert for mine. I was considering Berserk 2. I didn't in the end, but I was considering it. But yeah, it's a very good. I mean, for such a small forklift, and to be fair, for such an unorthodox way of using a forklift as well, it was very effective.
It's right at the back.
And ruined it in Series 4, really.
Yeah, it's right at the back for some reason. Which I always thought they could just put it at the front. I mean, and also the axe doesn't count because it's just an axe. The axe. I mean, every axe, pretty much in Series 3 was rubbish. I mean, Exterminators had the best axe, and Exterminators was more of a pick than an axe. I mean, you could go for like pretty much every axe could have appeared in the top 10 worst, but I didn't want to flood it with axes. So there's going to be a few. Only a few select.
I'm just going to delete my entire list now.
The worst of axes will be in there, but that's my number 10. So Anderson, what is your number 10 then?
Well, on speaking of axes, I've gone for Excalibur.
Ooh.
Now I know it's a bit of an odd choice considering Excalibur lost in the first round, but as you know, it's number 10 because as far as looks go, it's gorgeous. This thing, it looks absolutely stunning, and when it did hit Centurion, it worked really, really well, and it looked very tasty. And you know, it's just a shame that they did lose as early as they did, because I think, honestly, against 101, they could have given it a good fight. It's a flat, low robot, you know, a perfect target for an axe, and the same can be said for King B. Yeah, it's just a shame. I mean, I know there's not really much to say, because obviously, like I said, it didn't do very well, but just by pure looks and, to be fair, original, you know, power-wise, it was definitely an effective weapon, and it's just a shame we didn't get to see more of it.
Yeah, Excalibur's axe was it's a beautiful work of art. Let's just say it even got stuck inside Sergeant Bash, which made me laugh. Like it just, like it had a lot of power to it. It's just the biggest problem was the fact that the robot was just unreliable, which is a very big shame. Because going from Disruptor, which was honestly just a kind of okay arm saw robot at best, to this kind of like really stylish axe robot was quite a nice leap, I think. A shame never came back, which is a bigger disappointment, I think.
It definitely is. But I mean, you know, we need more Welsh robots, damn it.
Oh yeah, we haven't got.
Even though Wales doesn't exist.
Also, Wales has produced 2 champions, but whatever. Okay, we'll just shut up about that. Scotland hasn't.
Wales doesn't exist.
Oh, I forgot Wales doesn't exist. Yeah, Owain's just lying to you if he says Wales exist. It doesn't. But yes, I guess I'll move on to my number 9. And my number 9 is a robot that appeared relatively high in the Series 2 list, but now got reduced down, mainly because it didn't appear as often as it should have. And also because I think it was slightly inferior to its previous version, was Cassius 2.
Ooh.
Cassius 2 was funny because Cassius, I believe, was like 4th or like maybe even like 1st, I think, for the best weapon in Series 2 because of just for how iconic and powerful it was, and pretty much it was very effective. Well, I've noticed the Series 3 version didn't seem to be able to go underneath robots as easily. Like, it took a while to get Dundee over in that fight.
It did, and Dundee was made of ground clearance. I mean,
yeah.
That thing struggled.
The original Cassius would have flipped them over probably in about less than a minute, but that one took a very long time, to the point where Dundee almost survived the judges. It was taking that long. Yeah. But no, I still think it was a great idea to make the weapon bigger for a start, because the only problem with Cassius was the fact that the flipper was very thin. They went back to Recyclops and made it just really wide. But I still have to consider it a high flipper, because I mean, if it hadn't been for Rexguard R.I.P., such a shame that he's gone, obviously, that he quit in protest because of these safety issues, then he probably would have been a lot better, and he would have actually driven the robot and would have actually would have beaten Pussycat pretty easily, I think. Because I don't think there's anything Pussycat could do, especially with their standard saw blade in Series 3. I just thought it was an impressive robot overall, even if it was I think it was a very slight downgrade from Cassius, the original, but I still think it's a worthy successor to a degree.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Again, spoilers for my list. I didn't actually include Cassius 2, just because I personally felt that, like I said, it was such a downgrade over the original. I found that it seemed to... I mean, there was a couple of times in that match against Dundee where it more or less pushed them away rather than flipped them over, and I've kind of counterproductive. I mean, obviously there was some good design behind it. Like you said, they made it a lot wider, a lot bigger, a lot more powerful. But because we didn't really get to see it, and the fact that, considering that they went up against two robots with such a high ground clearance, we only ever really saw it flip a robot properly once. Yeah. You'd expect more from it, is what I'd say. So... Sorry, but I couldn't put it on the list myself.
As much as I love Rexguard, though, I can't really forgive the plexi plastic armour.
Oh, God, no.
No, that's the one thing I still don't really understand that decision. Like, the weight didn't increase that much, I'm not really sure what the difference was. I think because also adding the spike was kind of a weird accessory. Yeah. It's like what Firestorm did. It's exactly the same as Firestorm. Front hinge flipper with a spike on the back that never did anything. Apart from once when it hit Pussycat. But... whatever. Yeah, that's my ninth choice. What is yours, Anderson?
Well, you mentioned it previously when you were discussing robots that you would potentially put at the number 10 spot. Crusher.
Oh, I like your style.
Yes, well, thank you, old boy. Again, it's hard to really say much because it didn't do very well overall. But I really liked Crusher because it was one of the few Crushers, especially for such an early period Crusher as well, that actually did the similar kind of damage that we'd expect from Razer. Yeah. Like a lot of Crushers around this time, they were quite a bit weaker, they didn't quite have the oomph behind them. But this one just went through Beast of Bobbin like it was nothing. And I know Beast of Bobbin's armor wasn't exactly the strongest, but, whatever. Also, what I quite like about it is it's quite a cool little build, actually, because it's designed that it's got the big, hole maker, piercing area, if you want. Yeah. That sounded wrong. But also slightly upwards, it's got like another one, so it can basically crush two holes into a robot at once.
Yeah.
That makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
And had they used the full bloody weight limit and actually covered up those tracks, I actually have no doubt in thinking that they would have beaten Beast of Bodmin.
Well, I thought of a very easy solution to that. Don't make it a tracked robot. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, the way I look at it is the robot was only 68 bloody kilos. They had 12 kilos to play with. You can't tell me they couldn't put a bit of aluminium over the tracks or something for that. Come on.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think they would have beaten Beast of Bodmin had that track not have come off. Despite how much I like Beast of Bodmin, just saying. But yeah, it was a shame again that we didn't get to see more of it because it looked good, and like I said, I mean, it took until Series 5/6 where we really started seeing more Crushers on the same level as Razer. I mean, this one was on the same level as it in Series 3. And considering they didn't even think it was going to work at all, I think that's pretty impressive, to be fair.
And this came from the Warthog team, which is even funnier. The robot that
it can't drive forward without dying, but
well, it's not that it did that. It's the fact it's the only robot I can ever think of that died by hitting not even going into the obstacle course, but running into it and then getting slightly like a millimeter off ground clearance. It couldn't move. I love it.
His ground clearance was so low that he literally got bent slightly at the front, and that was it. Game over.
And the saltiest post-interview thing I've ever seen.
Oh,
outside of Behemoth in Series 9, but yeah, that's actually I think
too soon, man.
Too soon. Fair enough. Yeah, no. Okay, okay. Well, that's fair enough. It was 1998. I'm sorry. But yes. So Crush is your number 9 then. I almost considered it. I almost considered it, but fair enough. Funnily enough, you've actually mentioned my number 8, Excalibur.
Hey, brilliant! I thought I was an idiot for having that on the list.
No, it's the only axe robot. I put it higher than Berserk 2 and Cassius 2. Again, I've kind of said it before, but it was briefly again. It was a very stylish axe. It actually did damage. It got through Centurion's armor. It actually pierced Bash as well. Really, the robot let it down at the end of the day. A bit like Smidsy in honestly as well in Series 3. How really just interference and everything about it seemed to affect a robot that otherwise could have won the heat pretty comfortably. But what are you gonna do? I'm not going to say much else because you've pretty much taken everything I was going to say, so I think we'll just move on to your 8 then, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, my number 8, odd because you mentioned Cassius earlier, Gravedigger.
Oh, Gravedigger's not on my list, by the way.
Oh, fair enough.
It almost was, but...
It's a bit of a wild card, but the reason why I picked Gravedigger is because it was really effective. In all fairness, it got underneath Manic Mutant and threw it over no problem. Took out Mortis, no easy feat. Well, okay, it's a bit of an easy feat, but you know what I mean.
For a newcomer,
no problem. And I mean, a lot of people. I mean, it flipped Stegosaurus twice. Again, very effective front hinge flipper. You know me, I'm a bit of a sucker for front hinge flippers as well. So yeah, I thought that it was a very effective weapon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, it's there's not much to really say about it because you know how good it did.
Yeah,
it's simple but it's effective, and that's what I like about it.
That is basically what a front hinge flipper should be.
Exactly.
And also, I did like
to overcomplicate things.
And also, I will say, a brief mention. I fucking love the Series 4 version of it, which is such a shame it didn't work. Because I love this, and also Series 5 is basically the same robot, but I love both versions of it, and it's such a shame that it just...
Yeah, well, the Series 5 they turned into an axe.
Yeah, the axe was cool, but I still think the flipper was better, personally, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, losing to Chronic is kind of... Series 4 Chronic, I should say. The one that's literally just a box with a panel that flipped itself off. So, yeah...
Everyone turns around and says that, it was Terminal that killed them. Yeah, but Chronic beats them on the sidewall.
Yeah.
Even if Terminal had left them alone, they still wouldn't have been moving.
No, they couldn't have done anything. Enough of Series 4 aside. This is a Series 3 list. And my number 7 pick is a robot that also made it onto the... actually, a very similar position to my Series 1 and 2 one. Behemoth. Because talk about an upgrade from a robot that just barely lifts a robot up to just tipping everything over.
Yeah,
like
definitely. And quickly as well.
It's quite just so quick. And I mean, even if he excludes it, it's also more impressive when you include the World Championship as well, because it just techno-lease over Behemoth. Behemoth when it pitted Mortis was one of the best.
Brilliant.
Just lifts up and pushes it to the pit. I love it. And its fight against Razer was really good as well. And
and it owned Dietor as well.
It did, yeah. Because that's really hard.
Absolutely owned it. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean, it bossed really well. And I mean, Series 3 as well. I mean, when you think about it, again, Shark Attack. Had it not been for the editing, that would have been one of the quickest fights of the series.
Yeah,
because it was heavily edited.
And also General Carnage as well.
General Carnage, and had Dead Metal not righted Pitbull would have been dead within the first 10 seconds as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this bucket definitely was an improvement over the previous one. It was bigger, it was meaner, it was more powerful, it could get underneath things a lot easier, it could get things done a lot quicker. And the fact that arena spike came, I mean, okay, you can argue that Pitbull was coming back, and it was a really good heat final. Shouldn't have had a chance to come back, it should have been dead.
Yeah, it was a good heat final up until the spike happened. Pretty much.
And then the arena spike happened, and that just put a sour taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah, but for Series 3, despite its like speed, because really Behemoth didn't get fast until Series 5 or 6, was it?
Yeah, Series 6 when it went from 7 miles an hour to 12 miles per hour. Ooh.
Yeah, basically how we know it now. But for Series 3, despite its speed, I mean, it was such a powerful robot. Like, it's so intimidating going from this tiny little box that's like a soda stream thing to this giant bulldozer. And it's also because of the spike, I think, that they introduced those side self-writers. Because, God, if they had those, they would have been fine.
Yeah,
but no.
Definitely.
But Behemoth's just a massive upgrade. Like, it's just take what you had before and make it bigger, and that's what they did. And honestly, and that's honestly enough for making it number 7 in my spot. How about yours?
That's fair enough. For me, X-Terminalor.
Oh, another one I considered.
Yes, the reason why I picked X-Terminalor is several reasons. One, it's a very versatile weapon. It can be used as an axe, it can be used as a controller, used as a clamp, etc., etc. 2, I've never seen an axe hit a machine and then be able to pick it up and topple it over before this point anyway. That's pretty impressive in itself. The fact that because obviously it was technically 2 weapons, but they worked together with one, which is really awesome. I love the way that it just immediately got rid of Judge Shred. In absolutely no problem whatsoever. And let's be fair now. I mean, giving Panic Attack that good of a fight that early on in the series.
Yeah,
you don't get much better than that, do you? And it is a shame because they had every right to be a semi-finalist. They really, really did. And of course, it was vastly superior to the Series 4 version's weapons.
I mean, it was really them, the Big Cheese, and Behemoth were like probably the biggest contenders for being a semi-finalist.
Yeah, I'd also like to add Berserk 2 to that list.
Oh yeah, Berserk 2 as well, and maybe King Buxton if you want to push it as well, because they were also really good in Series 3.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, those are the big 5 where you could quite easily see a few others being replaced by them.
And the Dark Destroyer, obviously.
Oh, of course, probably they should have been series champions.
Dreadnought, come on, Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, mate, you just ruined my number 1 pick for best weapon. Dreadnought, damn.
Agrobot, hello.
Yeah.
No, but I agree. I mean, it was so close being on my list as well. But I think it was just down to the fact that Excalibur went through armor, whilst at the end of the day, Exterminator's axe was more of a pick than an axe. But it does diminish its utility, though, I guess, as you put it.
That's fair enough. I can accept that.
But we can both agree that the Series 4 axe is just, dear God, what was that?
Oh God,
what was that flappy piece of metal that they put on it? I mean, even they were very embarrassed by it, but they went to the flipper from the heat final onwards. Because no, it was more effective with the flipper.
Just no.
No. My number 6 is the former champion Panic Attack.
I was considering Panic Attack, but I didn't in the end.
It's mainly because the Series 2 Panic Attack, its lifting forks really weren't as utilised as they should have been. Like, it flipped over Whirling Dervish, yeah, and maybe got all the Mortis, even though Mortis is pretty much given up anyway, so I don't think that counts too much. But aside from that, they didn't really use them very often. They mostly had them up for some reason. It was mostly a pushing robot. But in Series 3, they just absolutely beefed up these giant forks and basically kept it. I mean, aside from the self-righter on the top, this pretty much, and the skirts, the forks stayed the same throughout, like that signature look.
Yeah.
With all the spikes that to hold onto robots, and it just kept flipping over. Like you got Axios, Toe Cutter, Exterminator. It just really was able to control robots really well. Just saying it couldn't drive.
What I love about Panic Attack's forks is that they were always able to get in the nooks and crannies.
Somehow,
if there was a small gap that could be exploited, those forks managed to find that gap.
Its best moment for me was when it gave Exterminator that roly-poly that basically broke its entire gas canister. That was
awesome.
That was brilliant. And then the slam into the wall breaks it entirely, and it's like, shit, okay, you're out now.
It a bit, didn't it?
Kind of. Well, that's the Exterminator's fault for not putting a base plate on it, but you know.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I'm going to say this once now. I mean, I'm happy to put Panic Attack as number 11, honorary number 11 spot. I mean, it was literally that close between that and Excalibur. I went for Excalibur just because of originality, I guess.
Fair enough. That's fine.
I didn't want it to be an obvious list. I mean, I'm not saying that yours is obviously, but you know what I mean.
I get you. What's your number?
My number 6 is Pitbull.
Pitbull. I actually did not consider Pitbull on my list, surprisingly.
I put Pitbull because it was a very effective set of jaws, again, for the time especially. I mean, this is basically, what, Growler years early?
It actually basically is Growler from ages ago.
Yeah. It's a four-wheel drive machine that can grab a hold of robots and shove them around the arena, and it did a good job at that. I mean, Technophobic grabbed it, and I mean, Technophobic's a beefy bot, and it was able to get a hold of it quite easy. Behemoth, again, you can argue that it should have been left alone by Dead Metal, and it should have been. But when they did get righted, they came back and they were strong, and they were getting a good bite in on Behemoth's side as well. And against Firestorm, and again here, me being the biggest Firestorm fan in the world, obviously, as we all know. I personally think that Pitbull should have won that match and was winning it until the Arena Spike got involved again. So
called karma, that.
Yeah, it's called karma. In all fairness, it is karma.
Just for that, the reason I didn't think of Pitbull, I think it was because of one moment is when he got stuck on the wall against Technophobic.
Yes, I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, that is a counterproductive moment.
I think it was also that I don't know what it is about Pitbull, but I swear you can never see the jaws moving, but they somehow just move. Like, they seem very stationary. They're not like Razer where you see it crushed down or something, or Tiberius. It's just kind of like there. And then when I was younger, I was like, how's it grabbing things? It's
because the bottom jaw moves up.
That's what got me. It's weird that the bottom jaw moves, not the top. But I guess it makes more sense because that's the part that gets underneath the robots. So I guess it was sort of like it was sort of like reminds me of Mantis a little bit, in a way.
Yeah,
a little bit, or like a complete control. I mean, not as good as that, but that kind of system.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, like I said, it's not the best weapon of the series, obviously, but I think it warranted a good rating on the list, myself personally.
Fair enough. Number 5, is a robot that I absolutely adore, and it was such a shame it was against such a good robot. Was the Big Cheese?
Oh,
I mean, the thing about the Big Cheese is, right, if it was just like a normal lifter, like it did lift robots up and that was a bit it, maybe it would get number 10, 9, something like that. But it just picks robots up. Like, it just, like, Shrapnel's that's actually still my top 5 favourite fights from Series 3. Not because it's any good, but just how funny it is.
How impressive it is as well.
It didn't fall over. That's the thing, it didn't fall over. The only time it fell over was lifting up Sergeant Bash, and technically they did lift them up. Even if it did fall over. Come on,
they managed to carry a house robot. What?
Yeah, and break it in the process by flicking its entire back off. But yeah, against Shrapnel, Anorachophobia was a special case, because it just did that Mr. Miyagi thing with the chop, like took a chopstick, just grabbed its axe and then chucked it, threw it into the pit. And if it wasn't
very versatile weapon.
If it wasn't against the future twice champion, then they easily would have been. I mean, put them in Trident's heat, put them in even put them in 101's heat. They would have easily won it.
Oh, easy. Let's honestly, right, putting it this way. The only other heat I can see it struggling in, apart from Heat E,
Hypno-Dise,
would probably be Heat H. Yeah, Hypno-Dise.
yeah, obviously.
Just because of the big sides. But, but this thing was. I mean, you could even argue it was ahead of its time.
It really
Honestly,
was.
You could.
It is why,
and it angers me how people turn around and say, "Oh, the Big Cheese was boring and it was rubbish," and "Oh, a really Big Cheese was so much better." Is like, what, the robot that barely worked in Series 4 won 2 fluky judges' decisions, which a lot of people don't agree with, by the way.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I always see the Big Cheese as like the kind of person who's trained for years and has really honed their skills so they can lift massive weights, like going the Britain's strongest man. And I feel like with the Big Cheese, it's just sort of like that guy gets a lucky shot. He punches someone, gets them, knocks them out instantly. He goes, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. That was lucky." But then they have no other power behind it after. If you hit him again, they go, "Ow, okay, I'm done now. I'm done." I don't like this. Like, there's way more power to it, even despite the fact. I mean, they do have the biggest flip, granted, but again, all these that's all the Big Cheese is.
I will give Wheelie Big Cheese the credit of where it's due. That his heat win in Series 5 was dominant as hell, but I mean, its reliability issues and the fact and that dismal performance in Series 4 don't save it as far as I'm concerned.
No,
but the Big Cheese is a really good weapon. Definitely, that lifter, it just took lifting and raised it to 11.
Oh, certainly, yeah. I mean, Sir Kill-a-Lot's like jealous because he couldn't even lift Groundhog, for Christ's sake. So you know, and there's it just picking up shrapnel like it's nothing.
Brilliant.
All right, so give me your number 5 then.
Robot that you and I aren't particularly fond of, especially me, but I kind of had to mention it. Razer. The way I look at it. Yeah, okay. I mean, I know that it's the reason why it's not higher in all fairness, is because his weapon was the reason why it died. I'm happy to admit that. But it won the first world championships with this weapon. It still managed to do horrendous damage, and it was still a weapon way ahead of most of the field at the time as well. So 5's a fair spot, I think.
Yeah, they definitely improved it from last year's by having the self-writers as well, which...
Oh, yes, as well, definitely.
Really helped. I mean, watching it just crumple through things like Chaos 2 and Agrabot is just kind of satisfying. Even if, yes. I mean, it still had that power behind it, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. That's my number 4 spot, by the way, so I might as well just get out of the way.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
I mean, we put them in very similar positions, but yeah, it's my number 4 as well, so I'll put that up there. But yeah, Razer's just like one of those robots that, like, Series 2 was cool and all, but in Series 3 it came around and it actually had looked a little bit more stylized. It has that kind of like nice, has the wings on it, it has that little spike at the back, and it's more the spike was a bit of a detriment, but whatever. And you just look at that and you just go, yeah, this is basically what it looks like from now on. Like, Razer didn't change that much from Series 3 onwards, like, design-wise. It basically stays very iconic. Yeah. And that's why a lot of robots got their iconic look from. Behemoth kind of didn't change too much beside down the self-writers and stupid axes at one point. Chaos 2, Hypno-Dise, Panic Attack. Yeah. You know, a lot of robots did kind of get their style down by Series 3 or 4. So... But yeah, Razer's definitely...
The Berserk 2 team. They then screwed it all up.
Well, they kept the same... They made it worse than Series 4, and then don't talk about Series 5. Actually, you give me your number 4 then, because I already said mine from number 4 was Razer.
Well, we basically swapped around, because mine's the big cheese.
Oh, come on. Do you have anything to add about it, then?
Apart from, you know, I mean, the only robot to really give Chaos 2 even then it wasn't really much, but give him a bit of a challenge. With their lifter. I mean, it was the only robot that until God, hang on, yeah, just think about it. Until Series 5, the Big Cheese was the only robot to flip Chaos 2 over.
That is a point, yeah. I never thought of that.
There's a thought for you.
Yeah.
So,
damn.
Fair play, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of says it. I mean, what I liked about it was they had a little triangle at the front, so that really, again, it's like Panic Attack. If there was a little tiny gap that it could get into, it found it.
Yeah.
And it sort of hooked robots as well, so they couldn't get away while it was lifting. So good. Yeah. So good. But yeah, apart from that though, there we go. That's it. The Big Cheese, number 4.
Fair enough. Number 3 is, I know we love this robot. It's going to be up there. Firestorm.
That's fair enough. You're not gonna believe this.
Is that your number 3 as well?
No. I haven't got Firestorm on this list.
You're what, mate?
I know. It's a travesty of me for not
I'm very
having it on there.
I had to have it on there. It was funny because it actually came in the same position it came in the series, 3rd. I don't know. I think it's just the fact that Firestorm, aside from Chaos 2, is probably the most effective flipper in the series. Because, I mean, it just... Everything it went against just flipped out. Even something like Facet, which is supposedly better than it. I say supposedly because its flipper was kind of flimsy in comparison. Got into that position where it couldn't self-right, and then Crash and Nash is going flying over. Dietor getting that nice, a slow lift over it. Pitbull getting flipped over by the spike was kind of a misstep, but the bit with Panic Attack really sold it for me, where it ran in and just got onto the wall. That was beautiful, and then really just unlucky it was against Chaos 2, really. But
see, for me, it was more the fact that the other weapons let it down with the spike and the conveyor belts, plus also. Sounding a bit cheating here, really. I thought it was too obvious for me to put it on there personally. That's just me. And also, to be honest, it was a bit slow. I mean, I preferred it when it was faster. That's just me. It's nitpicking. Don't worry, it's me being an idiot. It should be on there, but it's not. It should be on there. Why the hell did I put bloody Gravedigger on here? Jesus Christ. No, I'm joking.
All right. So what's your number 3 spot then? Oh, Anderson.
Behemoth.
You put it 3rd?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because, I mean, well, think about it. I mean, let's see, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4 battles in Series 4 alone, which lasted less than 30 seconds.
Damn, I suppose
thanks to this weapon.
I suppose that is a point, yes.
That's the way I look at it. And then the ones that it won after that didn't go on that long, it dominated. And one of those ones that it lost, both of the ones it lost, don't forget as well. A lot of people argue they should have won. For example, their loss against Pitbull. A lot of people think that was unfair. They should have won that one. A lot of people think that they should have beaten Razer in the first World Championships. And it's hard to disagree. It really is hard to disagree. I can see both sides of the argument. But at the end of the day, that's me. I think that Behemoth was a very, very strong robot in Series 3 and was incredibly unlucky as well.
I can definitely agree with that one. My number 2, though, if you like predictable robots, oh boy. Oh boy! I mean, stealth. What happened to that thing?
I knew you were going to do that.
No.
Mate, I think we've got the same top 2 here. Actually, I'm a bit scared.
Okay. Can we just get out of the way? Chaos 2 and Hypno-Disc number 2 and 1.
Yeah, Hypno-Disc number 2, Chaos 2 is number 1.
Yeah, we'll just do that now. Okay, okay, we'll do it now, because let's face it, what else could it be apart from the 2 robots?
Exactly.
The first robot to completely destroy a robot, and the first robot to flip a robot out of the arena, and also be the first robot to get 2 series in a row that wins the series. Of course they're going to be at the top.
Exactly. I mean, I read it on the wiki, right? There's a lot of people on the wiki. I used to do, when I was on the wiki, I used to write lists. A lot of people write lists. One of them, Crash Bash, I believe his name was, on there. That's his username. I don't know what his real name is, obviously. They put on there that the Series 3 Grand Final was the only. This was before the reboots, by the way. This was the only case, the only time in Robot Wars history, in his opinion. So classic Robot Wars. Where the 2 best robots met in the Grand Final, and it's hard to argue. It really is hard to argue. I mean, you have Hypno-Disc, like you said, that ripped things limb from limb.
Yeah.
Struggled a bit here and there. And then you had Chaos 2. I mean, Chaos 2, let's see, got the first out of the arena flip. Like I said, apart from being gently lifted over by the big cheese, this thing literally didn't break a sweat this series. Crocodilojon, owned. Sonic, owned. Big Chi, mostly owned.
Trident,
owned. Mace 2, again, a little push across the arena floor. Apart from that, Chaos 2 owned it. Firestorm, owned. Hypno-Disc, owned. After beating Hypno-Disc, what did it go and do? Owns Matilda and owns Shunt, because why the fuck not? It was years ahead of its time. The reason why I put Chaos 2 above Hypno-Disc is not, okay, 1, because it beat it, but 2, because Hypno-Disc did struggle here and there. Meanwhile, Chaos 2 didn't.
I mean, yeah, it got to the point with the Hypno-Disc, but it was getting that worn out that it couldn't destroy 101, which in the first round it easily could have if it had been right at the beginning. But,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, Chaos 2 had more stamina, let's just face it. Partly because I think partially also because spinners versus flippers, obviously flippers are going to have more stamina than spinners because spinners have to take way more damage than a flipper does. But also, Chaos 2 just owns everything from the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just amazing.
Yeah, you have to admit, I mean, both these robots were years ahead of their time. I mean, when you think about it, right, Hypno-Disc, okay, this was a robot that made 3 Grand Finals in a row, okay?
Yeah.
Not only that, it never failed to make the semi-finals, and it wasn't until probably even Series 6, I was going to say Series 5, but maybe even Series 6, where robots really didn't manage to come up with spinners that matched its power. Until I say Series 5, because obviously there was Disco Inferno and Fluffy at that point.
And S3.
And S3, but apart from, and even then, there's only a few robots that could match its power.
Then you go to the reboot.
The same can be said with Chaos 2. I mean, think about it. Chaos 2 owned everything in this series, and until the Grand Final in Series 4, had no problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
Only Stinger and Pussycat gave it a tough fight, and that was after a long series. And again, it wasn't until Series 5 when Flippers was really starting to become as powerful as Chaos 2. Thermidors was beefed up. Bigger Brothers was beefed up.
Firestorm.
I'm trying to think of some others now. Firestorm had beefed theirs up.
Even Spawn again had a good flipper, despite how unreliable the robot was.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, both these machines were years ahead of their time, and it shows. And honestly, if anybody was to do a top 10 list like this and did not have either of those 2 in the top 2, or top 3, I'll be nice, then they're idiots, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I personally agree with you there, and I think that ends our top 10 best list. Actually, not too bad. I was worried we'd have a lot of very similarities, but there was quite a bit of variation. Some robots didn't appear in my list at all. So I'm glad that happened. I cannot wait for the worst now.
Yeah, nor can I. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun in massive quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, there might be something. It might be just a remix of my list. I have no idea. But these will be uploaded over the week. So I'll be doing the best one week and the worst the next week. So look forward to that. So if you listen to this, obviously, then the worst will be coming in a week's time. That's equivalent to us recording it in 2 minutes' time. So what are you gonna do? So this is the best list. If you want to check out the worst list, that'll be appearing in a week's time. Check out the other videos as well. Go and check Anson as well. He has as a Robot Wars guru. Great series. Does he's done a few top 10s, like best series and emotional moments, which was a very good episode. And also random little robot reviews like Dan Tompkin. I forced him to do Wheelosaurus, but you know.
Also, you get to see this beautiful man's voice over there as well. Cause I've done a few reaction videos to his RA2 creations.
Yes.
One which we filmed the other day, and I'm currently in the process of editing, so hopefully that'll be up shortly.
And also check him on the RoboCast with Sam Elliott as well. Sam Elliott 64.
Yeah. Check everyone out. Check World of Woodrow out. Check Two Penny Milk out. Check Mr. Psycho out. Check them all out if you haven't, please.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. We need a love. Go to Good Rebottle. Go to Dominus Ignis. Go to Banter Wars. Go to Rossetti's Replicas. Go to every fucking place. Just go. There's Robot Wars. Go to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're rambling. We're rambling now. We better get the worst one recorded at some point. All right. I'm Jimjamatic signing off.
I'm Answer913, the Robot Wars Guru.
And this has been the top 10 best weapons of Series 3. I know how to save numbers.
Jesus Christ, it was all going so well.